Pill testing, the real story behind what's in your party drugs. Today we're diving into a topic that's saving lives, sparking debate and changing the way we think about drug use. Pill testing. Now, if you've been to a music festival in Victoria lately, or even just followed the news, you've probably heard about pill testing, sometimes called drug checking. But what is it, how does it work, and why is it such a game changer for harm reduction and public health? Today we'll break it down, we'll bust some myths, and we'll explore how pill testing is influencing the future of drug policy in Australia and beyond. So let's start with the basics. Picture yourself at a big music festival. The energy is high, the music's pumping, people are there to have a good time. But as we all know, festivals can also be places where people experiment with drugs. Sometimes for the first time, sometimes not. And the reality is, no matter how much we might wish otherwise, drug use happens. And that's where pill testing comes in. Pill testing is a service that lets people anonymously submit a small sample of their drug, maybe a scraping from a pill or a pinch of a powder or a tiny bit of liquid, to be analysed by trained chemists right there at the event. Using advanced scientific equipment, these experts can quickly identify what substances are actually present in that sample. It's not just a simple colour test. We're talking about sophisticated machines like gas chromatographs and mass spectrometers, which can detect a wide range of chemicals, including dangerous adulterants that cannot be seen, tasted, or smelled. Once the analysis is done, and it usually only takes a few minutes, the person gets a private one-on-one chat with a harm reduction worker. And this is where the real magic happens. The staff member explains what's in the sample, what the risks are, and what the person's options might be. They'll talk about things like dosage, potential side effects, interactions with other substances, and what to do if something goes wrong. And bear in mind, they're never condoning drug use, and we do not condone drug use, but we accept that it's going to happen, and we have to minimize the harm. This is the fundamental ethos of harm reduction. The conversation is completely confidential. No names are taken, no information is shared with police, and there's no judgment. Just honest, evidence-based advice in a safe space. You might be wondering, well, what kind of substances are actually being found in these tests? Because even though you think you might be buying drug A, the chances are it's not just drug A in that sample. The most common drugs submitted are things like MDMA, ecstasy, or methamphetamines, and sometimes LSD or ketamine. But here's the scary part. A significant number of pills and powders don't actually contain what people think. In fact, in some Australian trials, only about half of the samples tested contained the substance that the user expected. The rest had other chemicals, sometimes harmless, but often not. Dangerous fillers, new synthetic drugs, or even highly potent opioids like fentanyl or nitazenes have been detected. And these substances are deadly, even in tiny amounts. So let me give you a real-world example. At Victoria's first pill testing event, over 600 samples were tested. A substantial proportion were found to contain unexpected or potentially harmful substances. In previous Australian trials, lethal substances like N-ethylpentalone have been identified and safely disposed of before anyone could take them. In some cases, festival goers were warned about particularly dangerous batches and as a result chose not to take the drugs at all. That is a direct, measurable impact on public safety. Now, one of the biggest misconceptions about pill testing is that it somehow encourages drug use. I get it. On the surface, it might seem like providing this service is giving people a green light, but the evidence tells a very different story. Multiple studies from Australia, the UK, and Europe have shown that pill testing does not increase drug use. In fact, it often leads people to reconsider their choices. When people find out their drugs aren't what they expected, many choose not to take them. In one UK study, about 20% of people disposed of their drugs after testing, and when the contents significantly differed from expectations, up to 2/3 did the same. In Australia's own Groovin the Moo trial, 35% of patrons said they'd changed their behaviour, with nearly 1 in 5 deciding not to take the drug at all. There's no evidence that pill testing increases drug use. Instead, it prompts people to reconsider and often reduce their use. Let's talk about confidentiality for a moment. Pill testing services are designed with privacy at their core. No identifying information is collected, and the entire process is protected by law in states like Victoria. The aim is to create a safe, stigma-free environment where people can seek help and information without fear of legal trouble or judgment. In Victoria, recent legislative changes mean that both staff and clients are protected from prosecution. Now, this is absolutely crucial because fear of legal consequences is one of the main reasons people avoid seeking help when things do go wrong. By removing that barrier, pill testing services make it much more likely that people will reach out for support before a situation becomes life-threatening. So how does pill testing influence future drug harm reduction policies? Well, the answer is profoundly. The success of pill testing trials in places like the ACT, Queensland, and now Victoria has shifted the conversation from zero tolerance enforcement to compassionate, evidence-based health intervention. The ACT's Can Test program, for example, has tested thousands of samples, issued community alerts for dangerous substances, and directly informed public health messaging and emergency services. The data collected helps authorities spot trends, identify new and dangerous drugs, and issue timely warnings to the public. In fact, after a deadly batch of pills was identified in Europe, public warnings prevented further deaths in countries with pill testing, while countries without it saw fatalities continue. The broader impact? Well, pill testing is paving the way for smarter, more humane drug policies. It's a model that's being adopted by more states, with fixed site services opening in city centres, not just at festivals. And as more data rolls in, it's clear that this approach is not only saving lives, but also changing the way we think about drug use and public health. So pill testing isn't about condoning drug use. It's about reducing harm. It's about saving lives and giving people the information they need to make safer choices. The evidence is clear. It works, it's confidential, and it's a vital part of a modern, compassionate health system. If you or someone you know is heading to a festival or considering using drugs, remember, there are services out there to help, without judgment and without risk to your privacy. Stay safe, look out for each other, and let's keep pushing for policies that put health and safety first. That's all for today. My name is Dr. Ferghal Armstrong, and this has been Cracking Addiction.